Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes as our coastal storm gets underway. And bear in mind, there's going to be a wide variety of weather conditions with this, ranging from very little. If you're inland north and west of New York City, just inland of the New Jersey coast, westward into Pennsylvania, you might see a little bit of rain out of this, but as far as everything else is concerned, you'd hardly notice this. On the other hand, if you are on the New Jersey shore, for example, you're going to experience a bit more in the way of rain and eventually gales and the potential for some coastal flooding. And that will be different from what you will experience as you go east of New York City, which is where I think you'll see the worst of this. Central and eastern Long Island and southeastern New England, where we will see gales, potential for some heavy rain, particularly as you go further to the east, and also the potential for coastal flooding. So let's start off with the satellite loop this morning. And you can see the actual rotation here of the storm. This is not a tropical system. This is a non-tropical system, and the Hurricane Center has lessened the possibility of this becoming a subtropical or a tropical system at this point. And even the little low that's to the south, and it's still there, that little circulation well east of North Carolina, that's just going to get absorbed by this strengthening low to the north. Now, you'll notice clouds getting arced back westward into Long Island, New Jersey, and into eastern Pennsylvania. We also have an upper air feature that is in play here, and that's actually swinging across Pennsylvania, and it's pulling this storm back toward the northwest eventually. At least the moisture. It is pulling the moisture back to the northwest, and then that upper low is going to eventually orchestrate this to do a kind of a counterclockwise loop over the next couple of days. So if this were just a handful of miles further to the west, obviously the impacts for inland areas would be much more serious, but this is just barely far enough offshore that we're just seeing this, the bigger impacts confined to the immediate coast. Now, here's what we're seeing with regards to warnings today. So we've got gale warnings from coastal Maine all the way south toward just east of Boston, and then we get into storm warnings around Cape Cod, back over toward Hyannis, and those storm warnings for the coastal waters extend for the Rhode Island coastal waters and down to Long Island and along the South Shore to about halfway into Suffolk County. And then after that, we are seeing gale warnings for the rest of Long Island down through coastal New Jersey and all the way down into southern Delaware. Coastal flood advisories are up from Delaware to Long Island. We've got a coastal flood watch for southeastern Massachusetts. And bear in mind that it's the high tide cycles that are coming on Thursday that I think will produce moderate coastal flooding, and there might even be a few places where the coastal flooding could be considered major, and that would be in some of the harbors in and around New York City. So we may want to pay close attention to this as far as the Thursday high tides are concerned. As far as weather that's going on this morning, and this is as of 9 o'clock Eastern time, we are not really seeing all that much. We do see some rain that's backing westward, particularly over Long Island and Connecticut and southeastern Massachusetts. And then we've got this area that's in southeastern Pennsylvania with the upper low. Everybody's in the 50s. So regardless of whether you're going to get into rain or not today, temperatures are going to be in the 50s. It's going to be raw. And while the winds have been a little bit on the gusty side along coastal areas around Long Island, and in parts of New Jersey, and then just offshore, of course, we're still not really seeing the impact of gales. And here's what it looks like on the radar. The showers with the upper low in south central, southeastern Pennsylvania down into Delaware, they're moving northeast. And then you've got the rain from the coastal low being pulled back westward across southeastern New England, back over Long Island to just to the east of New York City. Again, this is as of 9 a.m. Eastern time. So this is a storm that's going to be impacting us for the next several days, today, tomorrow, and Friday. I think the worst of it is going to be, from the standpoint of wind and rain, is Thursday. That area of red, those are 40 mile an hour, 40 knot winds or higher. And this is for during Thursday, you're going to see these winds start to increase as we go through the day, and they'll increase from east to west. Fringe gales get to the Jersey Shore on Thursday, and then those stronger gales with sustained winds of 40 knots or higher touching eastern Long Island. And you do have some fairly solid sustained winds that back in halfway across Long Island and into Long Island Sound and touching the New Jersey Shore. And you can see the track of this low, that counterclockwise loop that it does. Actually, it looks like it loops it twice. And then you get that big jump back westward early Friday morning to about 38 north and 72 west before it kicks southward and then moves on out to the east. So it's kind of a long duration event here with the worst part of it for Thursday. And now, by the way, if you're inland, just inland of the coast, you probably won't notice this very much. That's just how how tight this is. And if you look at that was the NAM model with the wind field, and the GFS model is about the same. Here's how it looks like with the precip. The main round of rain, I think, comes overnight through Thursday into Thursday evening and backs westward, and it gets to a certain point when it gets into New Jersey where that rain winds up falling apart. Much here to look at with this coastal storm. You'll also notice there's a snow back over through the Dakotas, and that's with a major early winter storm that is underway, the second one in 10 days. And I've put up here the probability of at least 4 inches, and you look at the blue areas are all 40 to 50% or higher. That's a pretty large area over the next 72 hours, covering Montana, Wyoming, and into the Dakotas. And if we look at even the probability of a foot of snow, we're seeing some fairly high numbers in the 30 to 40% range in parts of South Dakota, northwestern South Dakota, central North Dakota, and also some probabilities up at 50, 60, and 70%. Into southern Montana. I just wanted to give this storm a quick mention here because we are going to talk about it tonight on our regular live stream. One other map I want to show you here, and that is the rainfall amounts, because they are going to vary quite widely across the entire area when we look at the numbers that are being produced, for example, in southeastern New England. Let me just get these wind barbs off so you can see this a bit better. The rainfall amounts near where that low center gets its closest pass to the coastline, producing some 6-inch plus rains in southeastern New England, 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches, maybe a little bit more for Long Island, about 3/4 of an inch around New York City and along the Jersey coast. But then look how the amounts really tail off sharply as you head up into the Hudson Valley, particularly west of the Hudson and in through much of the rest of New Jersey into southeastern Pennsylvania. We're talking about mostly 1/4 of an inch or less. And some of what you see down in south central Pennsylvania and north central Maryland has already fallen with regards to that the upper low that is swinging eastward. So we'll of course keep you posted and updated on all this. I don't really expect too many surprises with regards to the forecast going forward with this storm. We're at the point where we just want to sit back, watch it, and track it. Models are not going to really give us any additional insight to what's happening. So now it's a matter of just looking at what's going on the satellite radar and observing and making our forecast that way, which we will do. So website posts will be up throughout the day. There's already one up there now. We will have our YouTube live stream tonight at 7 o'clock, and hopefully we can get Joe Rayo on and have it a Joe and Joe weather show. That's 7 o'clock tonight on my YouTube channel, which is Joe Cioffi. Be sure to subscribe to it. It's absolutely free. And speaking of which, free, download my the meteorologist Joe Cioffi weather app on Google Play or on the App Store. It is free, and you can track this whole storm with Zoom radar. It's a really fine feature, and it does default to your location now on all platforms, so it makes it a whole lot easier for you. You don't have to put in your location each time. And also download the Angry Weatherman, which is Angry Ben's free weather app for Google Play. And it's not yet available for iPhones, but hopefully it will be shortly. So Weather in 5 today was Weather in 10, sort of, or 2 Weather in 5s. A lot of weather going on. It's hard to squeeze it all in 5 minutes. So have a great day. We'll see you later. And Patreon members, you'll have your Weather in 10 with a weather model update coming up later today.